Hello, happy Buddha's birthday and happy Mother's Day. The word Buddha means the awakened one. The Buddha woke up from his dream and saw reality and the truth for what it is. And for 2,565 years, we've been following his example to practice, to wake up, attain our own Buddha nature, and help all beings. But what does it mean to wake up in today's world? We are facing a very serious problem on this planet. Apart from wars, violence, poverty, starvation, there is the climate crisis. It will make many parts of the world very hard to live in the future. So we must wake up to this and take action to preserve and protect our earth. It's very, very important. The Dalai Lama said that climate change and ecology are very important to him. He also said that if the Buddha returned to this world today, he would be green. Other religious world leaders, like Pope Francis, have also expressed very serious concern about the climate crisis. So what is the climate crisis and how did we get here? Well, for about 10,000 years, since the end of the last ice age, our planet's climate has been very, very stable and predictable. We could rely on it for the consistency of the seasons, knowing pretty much when it would rain, how high the rivers would flow, how hot or cold the summers and winters would be. So farmers knew when to sow their seeds, grow and harvest their crops. We could feed ourselves and advance our economies. So within the span of about 400 generations, we were able to develop into an advanced industrial civilization. We took the predictability and the stability of our climate pretty much for granted. So it is like living in a place where all the roads are dead straight. You can drive along by looking in the rearview mirror. Okay? You don't have to look ahead. The roads are straight, you know they're straight. They have been straight for the last 10,000 years. But climate change has now thrown a curve in the road. So if we continue to look backwards while we're driving forwards, we're going to go off the road, crash, and hurt ourselves. So I think that many of us are aware that something is a bit strange now about our climate and our ecology. It feels a bit weird. Too much rain sometimes, severe drought other times, then severe weather, stuff that we've never seen before. I was talking to a local farmer a few days ago, and he said he could not rely on the weather anymore for planting his crops the way that he used to before. I lived in Korea for 16 years, and towards the end of my stay there, many people said to me, we used to have 4 seasons, but now it feels like we only have 2, summer and winter. The transition between summer and winter and summer again are so short, they're barely noticeable. In Thailand, which has a quarter of the world's rice trade, farmers are struggling to grow rice. One farmer said, I don't know if summer will be summer or winter will be winter. They cannot rely on the predictability of the climate anymore. And if you read the news, you will know that all over the world, we are experiencing extreme weather. Stuff that we've never seen before. Severe droughts, rainstorms, snowstorms, flooding, wildfires. the climate isn't normal anymore. It's weird. So the story of climate change is actually the story of our civilization. It's the destabilizing of our planet's presumed stable climate to a much hotter and much more uncertain one. The Earth is already warning us of the severe impacts on our lives if we don't stop heating up our planet. So these are no longer normal times. But when you view it through the primary Buddhist teachings of cause and effect, or karma, things are exactly how they should be. We planted the seeds of our present climate crisis by our use of coal, oil, and gas. The immense and cheap energy contained in fossil fuels kick-started our Industrial Revolution in the 1700s. And then we became dependent on this energy to power our pursuit of economic growth. So in Buddhist terms, our desire for endless economic growth, and everybody wants economic growth, is the primary cause of this karmic chain. The discovery of fossil fuels and the energy that it contained to power our mechanical engines, etc., is the condition that enabled the Industrial Revolution and economic growth. This is the second link in the karmic chain. Then, thanks to agricultural mechanization and fertilizers made from oil, we were able to feed ourselves, and our populations grew very rapidly. So just after the World War II in 1945, our population was 2 billion. Not really a lot. It took 300,000 years of our species' history, Homo sapiens, to get to 2 billion people on this planet. From 1945 to today, 2022, it has only taken us 77 years to quadruple our population to 8 billion. We have grown exponentially. And with it, our need for energy, food, shelter, and stuff have grown at the same time. But we have been able to come so far so quickly because we had access to an abundant supply of cheap energy from fossil fuels and abundant resources from this earth. So now our civilizations have become addicted to fossil fuels to provide us with energy. When I was in France in 2009, a winter storm devastated Europe. It cut off our electricity for about 10 days. And we had no water for bathing or for flushing because there was no electricity to power the pumps to pump the water up to the storage tanks. Also, we didn't have any lights except for candles, and also we didn't have much heating because quite a lot of it was powered by electricity. Luckily, we had gas, which enabled us to do some cooking for our food. So my experience of that time was that I realized that we were very dependent on energy for our survival. And when it gets cut off, many things that we take for granted suddenly come to a very hard stop. So fossil fuels, or burning fossil fuels, powered our economic growth. But inextricably linked with it were the formation of planet-heating greenhouse gases like CO2. So rapid industrialization not only brought with it rapid population and economic growth, but it also increased our planet-heating greenhouse gases. Our global temperature started to go up. So now we understand the karmic links in our chain are complete. We can join the dots. The primary cause is our desire for endless economic growth. The enabling conditions are fossil fuels and industrialization, and the results are economic and population growth, increases in greenhouse gases, and our planet's temperature. So the acclaimed scientist, Dr. Katherine Hayhoe, who comes from Texas Tech University, said, a thermometer doesn't give you a different answer depending on how you vote. And I would also add, neither does it give you a different answer depending on what you believe in. So we reap what we sow. Cause and effect is very clear. However, there is also a deeper root to the cause of our climate and ecological crisis. It is this: we have a mistaken idea of I, my, me as a separate and independent self, unconnected with the environment that we live in. So this disconnect also extends to our leaders in government and industry. They focus mainly on economic growth as their main priority. Sir David Attenborough said, we have a finite environment, the planet. Anyone who thinks that you can have infinite growth on a finite planet is either a madman or an economist. Okay? But simply put, we want more of everything. But this more of everything has a huge and harmful impact on our climate and the environment. So once we clearly understand these karmic links, we can unshackle ourselves from blaming others, also from victimhood. Because we already know that the cause of our current crisis is actually ourselves. And we also know that we can find the remedy within ourselves. So the Buddhist teachings of love, kindness, and wisdom can help guide us in our actions to save ourselves and save our planet. Instead of being self-centered in our outlook and our actions, we need to be more altruistic, be more other-centered, to take care of others, and also to recognize our deep connections with our environment and the natural world. In the 1980s, I was lucky enough to get a job as a student in a summer camp. And after that, I met up with my friends, rented a car, and toured around the United States. One of the places we went to was Yosemite National Park, and America has incredible national parks. When we got there, I was just astounded by the natural beauty. The giant sequoia trees, El Capitan, it was like nature was vast and awe-inspiring. And that was the feeling I had when I stood in the middle of all this, the vast beauty of nature. And it is something that we should and need to protect for ourselves and also for future generations. Jacques Cousteau, who is a famous oceanographer, already died. He said, "We protect what we love." So his words hold the key to guide our actions. We love our children, our families, our friends, and we enjoy walking along beaches, in forests and parks, breathing fresh air, and enjoying all of nature's beauty with our loved ones. And we like to do this for many years to come. So we can, if we start to protect our climate and our environment now. How do we do this? One of the best ways, according to Catherine Hayhoe, is to start talking with each other, with our friends, our local communities, and faith groups about preserving and protecting what we love and care about. And as we start to talk with each other, we will discover common bonds of interest and concern, which will lead to action. Love will always motivate us more than fear. Then we also can draw on the strength and support of our spiritual communities to help guide us through these challenging times. And with a sense of openness and kindness, we can take the opportunity to help each other with compassion and with wisdom. In Chinese, the word for crisis is wei qi, and it comprises two characters, wei for danger and qi for opportunity. So the challenge of climate crisis is therefore a reason for hope and action. That means within this difficult situation or dangerous situation, there is an opportunity for resolution. So we should not fall into despair or dim our light. The past is already set, but the future is still unwritten. We hold the key to our future and how the climate saga will unfold. This is without doubt the single greatest opportunity of our generation to pull ourselves out of the kamikaze dive. If we want to make a big impact with our lives, if you want to make a big impact with your life, this is your chance. We know exactly why the earth is getting hotter, and we also know how we can remedy it. We adults are the ones with the agency, the power and resources to heal this world for our future existence. Our children do not. By the time they grow up into adults, it will be far too late to do anything about it. So the Buddha taught us the Noble Eightfold Path: right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. So what it all means in today's world is that we must wake up and act in the right way. That means to make an effort with our whole heart to learn to live in harmony with this planet, to heal it and then nurture it for our children and for all species, and leave it richly habitable for them. It really does matter that we wake up now to our climate and ecological crisis. It is very, very important. So I believe the Dalai Lama is correct. If the Buddha appeared in the world today, he would be green and care deeply for the climate and our ecology. He might be even a climate activist. So, let us all be green Buddhists and green Bodhisattvas and save ourselves, save our children, save our planet from the climate and ecological crisis. Thank you, and happy Buddha's birthday.